Hey everybody, welcome to the Hurdy Burke Internet Broadcast Network. We are broadcasting live, state from the arts, well, away from the state of the art studios, Round Rock, Texas. You like my big glass walls,
It's nice.
Danny,
It's nice.
and
Yep. The visual effects are
the
great.
visual effects, like the door right in front of you. Isn't that awesome?
Yep.
Hey, I'm sitting with Danny Smith tonight, John Maxwell certified coach. We're going to talk about this hour tonight. Stop wasting handshakes. I'm really excited to hear Danny talk a little bit about what this is all about. I've had, Danny, quite a few people this week ask me, what does that mean? What do you mean, stop wasting handshakes or stop wasting fist pumps? I mean, I'm kidding. Handshakes. So before we get started with Danny, let me explain a little. We have some new listeners tonight. I'm sure we always do every show. We broadcast our show live through Google Hangouts on Air, through my YouTube channel. We cut the camera off. We like the radio format. That's the way I've chosen to broadcast this out. It's also a one-way outbound broadcast. I don't have Q&A set up because I like to focus on the guest that's in the show, and I don't have a chat moderator, so that's one of the reasons I don't open up the chat lines, because we'd miss it anyhow. For you, those listening, we have 10 sponsors for our show. They pay for 20 shows, and then all the businesses that come on every Tuesday are small, local Austin business. We cover and take care of them, kind of give them their own infomercial show. Once this show's over, I go back and take the URL link from YouTube, and I build that client a custom player so that they can have and enjoy it, put on their website, blog, newsletter. So if you're listening in the first time tonight, we have small business guests, but tonight's guest is Danny Smith. And Danny, say hi.
Hello, everybody.
And he's here.
I'm here.
My buddy and also my coach. So I can't get too much. I can't get too much by him. And he all of a sudden came in and his allergies started acting up. You okay?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah.
Okay. So anyhow, we'll if you hear him cough every once in a while, he'll just put his finger right over this mic right here. When you do that, that'll cut your sound a little bit. If you think you're going to cough, Rusty, leave him alone. And he's there you go. So
okay, excuse me.
We're off to a coughing start. Yes, could you get some water? Thank you. And the producer just went to get some water, so he'll be okay here in a few minutes.
Heard you have me all choked up.
I know, man. What can I tell you? I always kept talking there. Hey, we have 10 of our sponsors. I want to name a couple of them, and we also have Rusty the mascot in the house tonight. The Aussies just can't get enough of our company when he comes in. He's laying on the floor next to us right here. But we are seriously want to thank AMS Garage Doors, Charles Schiller. AMS Garage Doors is Mike Stewart, located here in Austin. They fix garage doors. They'll come out 24/7 if you have a problem. If you get your car stuck in the garage, they'll come out and take care of it. So check out amsgaragedoors.com. Also want to thank Charles Schiller, Round Rock Home Inspector.com, Round Rock Home Inspector.com. He's been protecting home buyers for 20 years. So if you're thinking about buying or selling a house, you probably want to get a second opinion on that inspection. Charles Schiller, Round Rock Home Inspector.com. All right, we can start our show. And I always have to do this. So let me close out these guys right here. I got to find my effects again. Never mind. I don't know where they went. So anyhow, Danny, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you.
Man, I set this up and then I forgot to turn the tools off. So there we go. All right. So anyhow, Danny, tell us a little bit. You're a John Maxwell certified coach.
I am. Yeah.
When did you get started with John Maxwell? What got you, before we get into what we're going to talk about tonight, what led you into that organization to go through your coaching certification?
I've been training and teaching and recommending his books since 2001. Actually, Blair Ball, who you know out of Memphis,
yep,
prepare1.com. Blair had visited Austin, spent the night, and he gave me a gift, sent me a gift later, and it was a Maxwell, actually a Maxwell Leadership Bible. And,
oh, cool.
That got me started reading John's materials. I think I'd read some stuff before. That got me started on it, and then over the years, I've gotten involved in it, in masterminds and some training using his materials. then John and his team, Paul Martinelli, Scott Fay, they rolled out this coaching program 3 years ago, and I got involved 2 years ago.
All right, and so you fully certified through that organization. As a coach, once you get certified through John Maxwell, what is there ongoing type of education? What do you have to keep going through in order to keep the certification? Is there other things you have to do?
Let me just tell you what I do.
All right.
They have a call that's an hour and a half to 2 hour call twice a week. That's a live call just for new coaches coming in. I go through it on a regular basis, just to keep current on new information. Then they're in the mentoring program. They have 2 calls per day. 2 hours per day in the different lanes that they train us in, the coaching lane, the masterminds in sales and marketing, speaking. So there's another 10 hours per week. All these calls are archived. Then they have other accountability groups and such.
So you have the ability to go through all these hours of archives and recordings and the updates and new stuff, new book launches from him that you guys can. And how does the material work? So you go through, and I'm asking this because I know some listeners are curious how you get all your materials, right? You get those books, you get worksheets, you get all the kind of things that you're allowed to use with your one-on-one coaching and your webinars, right?
Yep. Through the Maxwell program itself, and then the mentorship that I'm in, I have 8 different programs that I'm licensed in that we're provided materials. I have my own materials that I've developed over the years that I use. I blend all of those together.
Okay.
But I spend 10 to 12 hours a week with a headset on and a notepad and pen in my hand, taking notes. Just some of the stuff I've been through numerous times. I'm kind of a slow learner, so.
Yeah, me too. and I will also say about Danny, I am going through a 12-week course right now where we get on the phone every Monday night for an hour, and it gets really deep. But I'm telling you, there's a lot of growth there. And I also am going through another book called E-Myth Revisited that you're doing a webinar every Thursday afternoon, and it's just been awesome. So having a personal coach for your business or your own personal life, I think I heard you say this one time. I think I heard you say this when we first met, right, a couple years ago. If you're in business and you don't have a coach, you will have a personal coach if you want to be successful.
Well, yeah, something like
something like that.
Every successful athlete has a coach.
Right.
John
Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods.
He needs one now, by the way. No, I'm just kidding.
They all have coaches. You can Google CEOs that have coaches, and there's all kinds of stats out there of successful CEOs have coaches. And there's a difference between a trainer, mentor, and a coach. So the call that you're on Monday nights, it's the Empowerment Mentoring Series, and that's a training call. Really, we're teaching a lesson.
You really are.
Yeah, and we're teaching lessons such as purpose, vision, and goals. Lessons about comfort zone, the terror barrier that keeps you from breaking out of the comfort zones that you kind of freaked out about last week a little bit.
The phone got dead silent last night when it got really deep, by the way.
It did.
That was awesome.
Last night we taught on perception, and John Griffin.
How do you know a crooked line's straight?
Yeah.
Because you've seen a straight line, right?
Exactly.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. The authentic journaling.
Yep.
John haven't decided exactly what lesson we're going to teach next week, but it might be harmony, might be being world famous. That's an interesting.
Right.
So.
That's good. Okay, we're going to, first of all, before we go any further, I missed this earlier because I couldn't close the window out. So this is for the sponsors. They always hear this, so they like this. Thank you. We thank sponsors for being on the show and appreciate you guys sponsoring us. I'll be mentioning a few at the show. So really why we have you tonight is you're introducing a really cool, what I think is an awesome program. And I'm going to let you describe it, but it's called Stop Wasting Handshakes.
It is.
And and before we go any further, let's throw this out. Now, don't leave my show, but what's the website they can go visit and look at?
StopWastingHandshakes.com.
Real original.
Very original.
Real easy to find, okay? And so, Danny, tell us a little bit about how this started.
I'm also a guerrilla marketing certified coach. I've been teaching guerrilla marketing teaching and coaching around that for almost 4 years. Yeah, I see you've got a couple of the mastermind and
my book up here.
Workbooks up there.
Yep.
I had somewhere along the line last year in guerrilla marketing for business, and my style of guerrilla marketing has a lot to do with meeting people and staying engaged with people.
Yep.
And somewhere I thought I just started really using the term "stop wasting handshakes" this past February, March.
Right.
I went to my blog looking for something the other day, did a search, and I think April of 2013 is the first time I wrote about stop wasting handshakes. And I was surprised about it. It took me a while to recognize what I was really saying.
Sure.
So it came out of the guerrilla marketing for realtors.com program, and we all meet a lot of people and
absolutely
stay engaged with them.
We do. You think about. I think you made a statement the other day and it's on your opening podcast. And by the way, that's another thing. You just launched your Stop Wasting Handshakes on iTunes today, right?
Well, thanks to you.
Well,
I called you up.
It's your show, buddy. But go ahead. Go ahead.
I called you up last week. I said, "Hey, I need this." And you said, "All right, here, send me this, this, and this." And so I got it to you on Saturday, and lo and behold, you had it up on Sunday. It takes Apple a couple of days.
Yeah, to improve the content.
Improve the content, and it was active this afternoon.
So go to the website though. Stop Wasting Handshakes, because Danny's going to tell you about a few things he's going to be doing on that to get you interested in it, and what you're going to be doing. My personal opinion: we walk around all day long. We go to network groups. We pick up cards. Then we start working on our business. The cards come out of our pocket.
Mm-hmm.
They get put right here on a desk.
In the trash. I mean, on your
desk.
Your desk.
After you sift through the ones you really are serious about, and then I always make a note on the back of my card at where I met that person, and then put it in my pocket. I kind of follow your system, and I'll let you explain your system in a minute. Sure. But the problem is, it gets right here, and we have all these great intentions of getting home at night, but then NCS comes on, and all the good shows, and they sit there. The next day, you get started, go to another network group, pick up another handful of new cards, set them right here, and then what happens? They get stuck.
They get stuck, and then you feel bad about it, and it's been a few days, weeks, months, and you've got all these cards, and you don't want to throw them away,
because it meant something when you got it at the time, right?
You feel bad about throwing them away, so you put them in a box, put them in a drawer.
Right. And so what's your system?
Well, let me.
Back up first, because you didn't bring your questions tonight, and our crack producer didn't know what to ask.
Okay.
So, so what I'm going to do is let you lead me, okay, on this. So where do you want to start with this?
Let me just to reiterate what you just said. I'm going to give you two examples.
Right.
One about 4:30 today. I had a client call me. And I say a client, he's not presently in the program. You know what? He has signed up for the program, I'll tell you. It's a free 4-week thing. But he's been through the lunch and learns. He called me. He said, "Hey, you got somebody signed up for your program today after lunch." He was at a networking event, and it was more of a roundtable discussion.
Sure.
And somebody said, "You know what? I just need help. I don't know what to do with all these business cards I've got laying on my desk." Truly, this happened. And anybody have a suggestion? And after a few minutes of different people saying things, Austin said, go to www.stopwastinghandshakes.com, and he said everybody around the table was writing that down. So same but different. That's somebody that's out networking.
Sure.
They're out meeting a lot of
Sure.
people. Another place you meet a lot of people is at a convention. You go to a convention and you meet a lot of people, and you might fly to Boston.
Yeah.
Spend 2 or 3 days at a convention, meet all these people, then you don't know what to do with that. I've spent thousands and tens of thousands of dollars sending people to conventions that work for me. They can come back, and I'm going, what are you going to do with all the people, with all the cards?
How are you going to follow up?
How are you going to stay in touch with these
right.
people? Then there's just running into to people on the street, one-to-ones, you meet somebody.
Right.
I'm walking out of an office building yesterday, and with somebody ran in. I picked up a business card. So the thing is what to do with those business cards, and I won't go into the whole entire program.
We got plenty of time.
But it's the thing is that you have to have a process. And, well, first off, you have to have a purpose. You have to have a purpose for wanting to take that person's business card, other than if you're just supposed to get a business card.
Right.
You have to have a purpose for it, and sometimes that purpose is just to put them in your process. I'll describe mine, and I tell everybody, develop your own. This is my process. You develop your own. I take that business card, and I'm not a very processed person. I don't naturally do processes. I'm
right.
fairly extroverted, and but I know I need processes to be successful. I take that business card, I put it in my right pocket, and then when I get to my office or home, wherever I'm going to put that in my database, I take it out of my right pocket. Now it will normally go in the little box with my keys. Now this is how detailed I am about this. So that I take that business card, put it in the box with my keys,
right,
until I'm ready to put it in my database, and I send an email. And I'm going to send an email. I'm not going to send an email today. I'm not going to link up with them on LinkedIn. I'm not going to go find them on Google. I'm not. You don't do that today. That's stalking. You want to wait
and drip something to
and
them.
Drip and take time to get to let the person remember you, get to know you. Let me just go ahead and give a plug for. There's a 4-week, 4 videos, 4 live teleconferences with Q&A and worksheets that's all available for you free at stopwastinghandshakes.com. The videos are being done and redone right now. We've got the 2nd video up. Next Monday we'll have the 3rd video, and then the 4th. Right now you can sign up and get video 1 and 2 back to back. If
they're good. They're awesome.
Yep. So, but the idea is that you develop a habit, a mindset of following up with people, staying engaged with people for months and years. I meet somebody today, and I need to treat it like I'm marketing and not selling. Selling is asking for the check.
And
marketing is everything else you do before and after asking for the check. Now, I realize there needs to be a sales process. There needs to be a sales process in that, but the more we consider, marketing is 99% of what you do. I go out today to make calls, whether I'm whatever that is in our business, and whoever's listening in your business, you go out to meet people and make calls, whether it's business to business or business consumer. It's sexy to say I made sales calls today. I'm going out making sales calls.
Yeah, no kidding.
But it's not sexy to say I'm making marketing calls. I'm out. What did you do today, honey? I marketed today.
I was marketing. Yeah.
And because marketing doesn't. It doesn't end necessarily. It can help sales, but it just doesn't sound right.
Right.
But the more we have the mindset that we're marketing, the more we understand the difference between traditional marketing and guerrilla marketing,
Right.
the more successful we're going to be, the more leads we're going to generate, the more prospects we're going to have, the more we're going to build relationships. Dale Carnegie talked about how to win friends and influence people. We want to win friends and influence people, whether it's a win-win, so that months or years from now, when somebody needs your product or service, they remember you. I like to call top of mind. You're top of mind.
Sure.
So there's a lot of pieces to it. We don't, but social media is a big part of it.
Yeah, and so why you did your little spill a minute ago, when they go to stopwastinghandshakes.com, right, they're going to see a intro video you did. That's also what we took the audio off of. That's on your iTunes, Stop Wasting Handshakes. All right, so they go in, they see that there's this big yellow registration button. They register, right? And then you're going to start. You give them a whole bunch of stuff right on the front end that they need to go check out. Right, and then Danny and I will go through explaining some of those sheets and stuff tonight because I think they're really cool. Okay. And then they can sign up for your telecourse. Right, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's a great course, and I'm going to say right now that I'm going to at the end of with the fourth video and with an email, there's going to be an offer for you to buy into a program. We're not going to talk about that right now. It's good to go deeper because, but the guts of the program, the foundation, what some people would say, the substance is right there. You're going to get all that free.
Awesome. Yeah. And I'm telling you, I'm in some of the other programs that go beyond this, and I will tell you they're fantastic. So you can't go wrong. Definitely go sign up for that. Now, all right, Danny, you have all sorts of processes and within this, right? So you pick up that business card, you put it in your box, right? Database. Tell me about the CRM. Tell me where that ties into this, if you don't mind.
Okay. The CRM is if you don't know what a CRM is, the contact relationship management system. I actually like to call it a CMS, a contact management system,
because that's what it is, right?
Yeah, and but the buzzword is CRM. You Google CRM, and some of the top CRMs. The oldest one is ACT. That's what I use. I've been using that. Donnie Hunter, the Go Small Biz guy from Waco, got me started on that back in 1995, and I've been using ACT most of the last 19 years. It's really been that long. I like it because it stays on my computer. It's not out in the cloud. It backs up to the cloud, but it's on my computer. There's a Salesforce. A lot of people have heard of Salesforce.
They'll use that one. There's Insightly, which is a basic one, unless you want to buy into. So there's all sorts of ways to track and keep the data on those cards.
Exactly.
Right?
But let me say this. You don't need an electronic database per se. Yeah, you put all the emails into whatever email system you use, Gmail, Yahoo, Outlook, whatever the Apple device, Hotmail, whatever that is. You've got that database there. A CRM, we had CRMs before. I was on the phone with somebody today. They were talking about CRMs, and this is the third conversation we've had in the last week. You don't have to have a digital database. You can start off with the business card, and we have a contact circle worksheet that some people have the electronics. I use a paper and an electronic digital CRM both. Right.
And the paper is really cool because it's centered where you put a business card in the center, and then you have little circles drawn out around it so that you can put your first drip, second contact, third contact till either it goes dead or you don't hear. At some point you make a decision on that, right? And maybe put it in a tickler file for further down the road, correct?
Right. What's different about a marketing process than a typical sales process is that you've got people. It's a sales process. The buying curve, you want it shortened down. The marketing process, you want to stay engaged with somebody for months, even years.
Right.
And it might fall into a sale, but they're going to buy again.
Or referral.
Yeah, or referral. So so literally, my system, that what I recommend is that I meet somebody today, and I'm going to come back to that sheet. I meet somebody today, I probably won't follow up with them. Today's Tuesday till probably Thursday. Thursdays and Saturdays are normally I sit down and follow-up days. And if I missed Saturday and it's a week later, that's okay, because you literally want people to have to think about who you are. And that's why, one, I don't have my picture on my email. I send you an email and it will say simply, Herdy, it was great meeting you at wherever it was we met. Underneath it, it has my signature.
Right.
There's a link, including a link to LinkedIn. Most people are familiar with LinkedIn. Right. I want them to click on one of those links. That's why that I don't send it from my cell phone. That link might not work, and I send it from my desktop or my laptop. So I want them to go, who is Danny?
Right.
Who is this guy? And click on that link, and to bring them into my internet world inside either my blog, my direct them directly to Stop Wasting Handshakes, or to my LinkedIn page. So you want to bring people into your world. What Michael Hyatt calls a platform. Okay, michaelhyatt.com is a book called Platform. That's now a big buzzword that he didn't create it, but he's made it popular in the past 3-4 years. So you want to bring people where they land on a platform, and you literally have 3 to 7 seconds. 3 to 7 seconds and they're gone. But they come in, they go, oh, I remember this guy, boom, and they're out of there. But then they get something, but then you wait a week to follow through with them some more.
Right.
And you send them, you might want to send them another email that says, Herdy, we met a week ago or 2 weeks ago, mention where it was. I was introduced to you at Texas Land and Cattle. Mention that. I'd like to connect with you on LinkedIn. I'm going to send you a connection to LinkedIn. Now, you can go ahead and send them the LinkedIn without doing that, but the idea is that you want to bring them into your world again. You want them to think about you again.
Sure.
And you're not trying to get them to buy from you right now. You're not giving a sales pitch. You're not telling what you can deliver.
This isn't buy now, nice to meet you thing. This isn't in your face. That's kind of a taboo,
you're just trying to build a relationship with somebody.
I want to get to know you.
But to see if there's a win to win.
Right.
A lot of times there's not. And I'm going to say this: most people will not respond to an email.
I wonder why that is. Any idea?
We're just moving hard. We're just moving hard.
Has nothing to do with you personally. It's just they just don't have time, or something just stands in the way.
Exactly.
But you're doing your end.
Right.
You're being accountable to what your system is. Mm-hmm. And a few of those gold nuggets are going to come out of that, right?
Yeah. So I say, what if over the last 5 years, all the people that you've met that are potential clients, all right, of all of those people, what if you got just 2%?
Yeah,
more business. Okay, that you were connecting with them in some form or fashion, you were staying in their awareness, so that they want to buy your product or service, and they go, what about? And you're talking to your wife, and you go, honey, there's a guy that I see every once in a while. Well, where do you see him? You know what? Let me go look. Oh, you know what? I hadn't seen this guy in 3 years, but I get something from him every once in a while. He seems like a nice. There's a connection.
Right.
You're not trying to manipulate. You're just trying to see if there's a win-win. The internet is an incredibly powerful tool
if used right.
If you use it right. In the book Pendulum.
That's a great book. What's the author on that book? Some people might want to go buy that. Is it still can you still get it in print?
His name's Roy Williams, and I think his co-author is Michael Drew. He's considered the Wizard of Ads in the advertising marketing world. I think he more or less retired a few years ago to outside Austin here in Wimberley. Has written this book. It's a 2,000-year study of marketing.
That's just incredible.
Yeah, it's an incredible book. It's a hard book to read, but and without going in detail, there's a statement that he makes in there and builds a case for it that the internet's best use is as a relationship building tool, and it is. And you and I we're digital migrants. Okay, and
is that a new buzzword? I have to write that one down. Okay,
you haven't heard me use that.
No, would you please describe what that means? We're digital migrants. We're the older baby boomers, coming around the corner.
No, we migrated.
Yeah, we did
into the digital world.
Yeah, we weren't born into it. That is true. Okay, I get you now.
Okay.
All right.
Now,
we had to learn it.
We're not natives.
No.
Okay.
No. But it was always there.
That's another subject.
Yeah.
We're digital migrants. Our kids and grandkids, maybe not. I mean, my son's 27, my daughter's 32, I think, and they don't really remember a world without the internet that well. They do, but it's a little bit. There's all the games are coming up, and it's all confusing.
Right.
But my grandkids, I've got a granddaughter that's turning 16 in 2 months, and she doesn't remember the world without the internet. But a lot of us think that these kids walking around, and I know this is very controversial, so some people might hang up on this.
I doubt it.
We see all these people that are sitting around just
texting and
looking down at each other,
bumping into walls. Yep, I get it.
Those the millenniums and those people, they're so community oriented. They know so much about each other, and the relationships they really do go deep.
Right.
And there's some studies out that get away from our perception, get away from our perception about this. It's pretty incredible. It
is their communication tools that's the only thing that's normal to them. And they don't feel bad about sharing anything on it because that is their community.
And they build relationships.
And they build relationships that way.
I've got some people I consider pretty close friends that I haven't seen in years. I've got others that I didn't meet until for 3 years after knowing them online.
Wow.
You look at all the people that meet online and get married and have successful marriages.
There's people that I have met that have been in my life that I would never have known if it hadn't been for the internet.
Right.
That have helped me along my journey, that I've become friends with. So, if it wasn't for that internet.
So you take that,
Yeah.
you take that aspect and you put that into your normal business day. All right, blend that into what you're already doing, and it changes things. Now the struggle is, and you've heard me say this in a lot of functions, a lot of ways. I bring this up quite a bit, but and this you can Google this statement: 60,000 thoughts, 90% habitual. You'll find a Dr. Luskin at Stanford University did a study, I think in 2012. Where he claims, and actually he's on the low side of some other people that are quoting similar things. So I'm using the conservative number here, that we have 60,000 thoughts per day. 90% of them are habitual. So that means we just keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, and we might be getting okay results, we might not be, but we have this thing called the comfort zone that we get stuck in, and we don't seem to change. And that's where that's why that this entire program, Stop Wasting Handshakes, works in conjunction with, you've heard me talk about, it works in conjunction with really any other program. I have realtors here in town that have come through the program, the guerrilla marketing for realtors program. That's why we call this Stop Wasting Handshakes 2.0, because this is the graduated version of the other, but it includes the whole program includes empowerment mentoring, learning the 13 choices, and some other the masterminds and such. But what it does is you take realtors that are in Michael Mayer's 7 levels of communication. Incredible program. loan officers and salespeople are in the core program.
Right.
Brian Buffini's program. All these different programs, they're incredible programs, but they don't make lasting changes because and the difference with Stop Wasting Handshakes is that you lay that in with those other programs that cost hundreds of dollars a month to be in their program. I was in a loan officer's office today, and he had gotten a phone call from one of those programs. And they said they've got a version that's only $400 a month. Okay, and he says, but I won't do it. I know it. I know all the stuff, but I won't do it. That's why I really need to pay attention to your whole program, Danny. And I said, yeah, you're right.
And have you involved with them?
Well, the thing is to start introducing ways that once you learn the basics, the foundational, the one-page marketing plan,
right?
How to work through the 100 events and weapon list, how to use a calendar correctly, how to use a contact worksheet, learn more about the competencies, identify some roadblocks, and we do all that in the first 4 weeks. I give you all that stuff. You download the teleconference, you download the video so that you've always got that. We'll have a book coming out
soon.
Soon. You actually get the videos are me talking over a PowerPoint presentation,
which are awesome.
And then you also get a PDF of the PowerPoint presentation, so you've got this to put into a notebook. And so this is all, so you've got the foundation of it, that then if you decide that you want to go deeper and really figure out what you're going to have to change, how you're going to change some habits, so you start you get your mindset going so that you're getting ready to go make a sales call or go to a networking event or go out to a convention, that you do think about, okay, what's my purpose? Got an email, Danny, should I go to this? And I didn't even, I'll be honest with you, and I told him, later, I sent him, I did not open it up and look at what the PDF was.
Right.
And I sent it back to him and I said, what's your purpose? And he went, oh, never mind. Well, it was an event in his association, so he was going to meet, people like him, but there were no clients there.
Right.
So if the purpose was, it was actually a
hobnob, and
it was a happy hour at Dewey's, and if you go there and get some free food and drinks, great. If that's your purpose, you want to do that, that's great. But understand what your purpose is. You're going to go to a Chamber of Commerce event. What's your purpose for going there? Most people will say, well, just to meet people, build some relationships. Okay, how are you going to do that? And I'm just going to. I said, well, let's look at this weapons list. This weapons and events list. In the guerrilla marketing world, everything like that's called a weapon. I also call them events because a lot of them are events. You picking up that business card, that's an event.
Right.
Or you putting it in your pocket, that's an event. So, what's your purpose for going there? Understand the real purpose. Understand what your benefit is and what people benefit by buying from you, and then
And you made and here's a statement that's always stuck with me. You'll be the same in 5 years if.
That's a Zig Ziglar quote, and
but you use it a lot.
Yeah, I use it a lot. And I heard him. He said it to me. He pointed at me and said that to me. Now there's 50,000 of us in the.
You just felt like he was right at you, right?
He was pointing right directly at me. And he said, and I imagine him saying, and now, Danny, you're going to be the same 5 years from today as you are today, except for what you listen to, what you watch, what you read, and who you hang out with. And
that's powerful.
That's one of the most powerful.
That is really powerful.
It really, really is. And if you want to change your life, you want to make some changes. You've got to change something. And you know what? When you change the way you look at things, the way you see things change.
Yeah.
Okay, you remember that?
You're just going down a dirt road again. Of where, listen, that is deep number 3 on one of our coaching classes. But repeat that again.
when you change the way you look at things, the way you see things change.
Yeah, okay, so you better keep going.
So
Now you're on that.
well,
So use an example. Do you have one?
Of marketing.
Right.
I remember, the first person that said this to me coming out of a guerrilla marketing class. I was in a BNI group and had a lady came to one of my guerrilla marketing, what I call one of the information dumps. It's a 3-hour class, and you just get a load of information in 3 hours.
Sure.
And the next week, and she was the first person I've said. I've had lots of people say it since then. She said, the statement we talked about, the statement about marketing is everything you do before and after asking for the check, and she's insurance, sells property and casualty, homeowners insurance, car insurance, stuff like that. And BNI, at the end, everybody goes around and I call them shout outs.
Right.
Hey, enjoyed this, and she said, Danny has changed the way I look at my calls. I don't call them sales calls anymore. So go back to something we talked about earlier. That she all of a sudden started. You change the way you're looking at things. So you're going out making these calls and you're thinking about them as sales. At the end of the day, you didn't sell anything that day. And some of us can't expect to sell something every day.
Right.
But we have to be marketing.
Right.
So you change the way you look at things.
Right.
The way you see things change. So and
I think that
does that make sense?
Yeah, and just to add to that, I think that the outflow of social networking and being involved with that has slowed down that hard pounding selling process. Right? People don't want to be sold. They want to find, they want a relationship established so that, and I'm not saying there's not a point that's a sales point, right? There is. There's a closing. Yeah. Obviously, you have to ask for something from somebody, but it's the way you go about it.
Yeah, if you're marketing better, the sales, the act is a lot easier.
The act is part of the whole process. It's not 100% of just one thing. Mm-hmm. It may be you're working with the client for a couple months, just getting to know them, having a relationship, having coffee. You may never talk about it, but at the end, because that's all there, the result of that could be the sale along with the process you talked about, right? So people's got to be willing to think inside the box that they. I didn't explain that very well, but I know what I'm trying to say.
Trying to say is that in the years past, okay, I'm going to venture into maybe a little bit of new territory because I've never really said it exactly like this. It's interesting because in the years past, we expected somebody, if we show up, we go buy a car, guy walks out on the lot, and right. And he goes, he starts trying to sell you a car, and you buy the car, and boom, it's done. Nowadays, I know that still goes on.
Sure.
But Kathy and I were out looking at cars the other day. We decided to start looking, and then we go home. I look some more. I'm looking at the salespeople. Excuse me. This thing got a call. Where'd that come from?
You're fine. Anyhow, while Danny's over here choking, we'll get back to him in a minute. He's got some water right here. All right, so why don't you take a 2-minute break so we can do a little sponsorship thing here, okay? First of all, Danny's been fantastic giving us a ton of information. We're going to talk over the hand clapping, but let's thank Sherry Sally. Sherry Sally's with HSK Century 21 up in Georgetown, Texas, and she told me the other day I need listings. And so if you are in the Williamson County area and you need a great realtor, actually, she's very successful. Sherry Sally, Century 21, WilcoTXHomes.com. WilcoTXHomes.com. Sherry Sally. What a great website. Isn't that great?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
WilcoTXHomes.com. And she's excellent. And she's been doing She's been doing homes in Williamson County for quite a while, and she's really good at what she does. Go check out Sherry Sally at WilcoTXHomes.com. And then I want to thank Jeff Steck. Jeff Steck's one of the sponsors of the show, TylerEricaSystems.com. And Tyler, Erica, is literally his daughter, and son's name, or son's and daughter's name run together. That's how he named his company. So Tyler Erica Systems.com. Jeff Steck likes to work companies that are in the $1 million range, that are now getting diversified, have gone into a growth spurt, and they've got people in the walls confused about direction, or they've gotten out of whack from their marketing, or they actually need to outsource some of that and get some help. And he can come in and kind of do an audit of the company and kind of give them some help with direction. So go check out TylerEricaSystems.com. Jeff Steck. We're back. Woohoo! Doorbell. I gotta play something. Love the sound effect. Yeah.
I think I was with you when you found those things.
You know, I mean, they keep adding stuff on the Hangouts on air, right? And we want to thank our listeners for being with us so far. And Danny, you had a thought. Go ahead.
You know, you think about how, I mean, here's one thing I thought when you started telling me, I don't buy something from somebody without checking them out online.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go deeper. I'm going to check them out online. I went to the car dealer. I started looking through. Now, we were there on a Sunday. So they weren't open. So
that helped.
So I went, got one guy, started, we'll go into that, but I went online later.
Right.
And I looked at and started looking at people.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have done the same thing if I'd have gone and we talked to, somebody was really showing us whatever.
Sure.
I'm going to go look. I'm going to go see where he's at online. I'm going to learn a little bit more about him.
Right.
And it is a different world now, and understanding the importance of the internet and
the information flow that you can get before you even show up. Right.
Exactly. I had a young man that was moving to Austin. He called me back in May. I got an introduction from somebody else. Hey, Danny, told me about this person's moving here. Would you mind meeting with him? I said, no, I would love to meet with him. And then when he got here, he called me a couple times where we connected. I couldn't meet with him. I tried to meet with him. We were moving offices that week. And then he's called me since the second week of June. He's called me 3 or 4 more times until we met last week. You know what? We met. He sent me a thank you note he sent me an email about 2 hours later. It's been over a week, and I've heard nothing else from him. Now, he spent a lot of time to make what I guess was a sales call, all right, where he sat down with a one-to-one, and I'm not buying any insurance,
right.
And he says, well, could you send me some leads? And I said, well, let's get to know each other a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
There's been nothing after that. Maybe there will be.
Right, but as at this point, there's not. So that's what you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. All that work to make that what I guess was a sales call that he wanted. Right. And now I expect this guy's pretty aggressive. He'll call me back up sooner or later, but it's not the way to build a relationship with most people. All right.
I agree.
And there's an internet base. There's a relation. Getting to know somebody, and a big part of the program is remember those 3 circles. There are these 3 circles embedded.
The trust.
Getting people to know, like and trust.
What I talk about on video all the time.
Exactly. And you want to go out into the universe where they're on, and this will work online also. Especially if you're going to some meetings, you want to get to know people ahead of time, things you can do ahead of time to get people to recognize you, so it's not such a cold meet. Right. But you spend a certain amount of time out in the universe, a certain amount of time with what's called permission-based prospects. Okay, people are giving you permission to market to them, and then a certain amount of time with people that are past clients and trust, what I call trust partners. Right. The guerrilla marketing book, they're called Fusion.
You've got a worksheet for that in your program.
Yeah, right. There's a whole worksheet of that, and there's a lot of time. A new business person, somebody's relaunching their business, they spend more time out in the universe than a person that's been in business for a number of years. Sure. Actually, in the guerrilla marketing book, it will tell you to spend 60% of your time with marketing to past clients and trusted partners or fusion partners. You spend 30% of your time with permission-based prospects and only 10% out in the universe. Well, that's literally reversed for a new business or a business restart.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so I would imagine the other thing that goes into this thing of stop wasting handshakes, which is probably deeper, is that if people don't go through a system or find a way to be whatever that is in their comfort zone, right, that they start to figure out, there's that word again, doggone it, we start discovering we use that more than we think. The stats of not being in business very long are very high, right?
Yeah.
And so learning to shake hands properly, drip information, learn how to market and not just sell, because maybe our perception has been we've just been in sales and we've been taught to sell.
Yeah.
Right? And so we don't understand that other part, that dripping and marketing and getting to know people. But I do think the internet helps that.
Yeah,
because you learn a lot of skills that you ordinarily didn't have before. You have to be nice, you have to say things, you have to be into the conversation, right? Not necessarily pushing your agenda.
Yeah, I'm gonna 75% of my online social interaction is where I'm sharing other people's information. Look at Blair Ball, out of Memphis. Blair, I think 99% of what he does is sharing other people's information.
I think all Blair does is pick up everybody he likes the information from. He shares my tweets every day.
Yeah,
every day.
But to go back to something you said a few minutes ago, a couple of minutes ago about not being in business, is that in a few years, the number one reason, and the stats vary a little bit on this, but 3 in 10 businesses will not be in business in 5 years, and 3 in 10 of those businesses, only 3 in 10 business be in business in 5 years, and then in 10 years, only 3 in 10 of those that survive 5 years will be in business. Okay,
right.
And the reason is people don't build themselves out in front of their business.
That's another part of your deal.
Yeah, you've got to
grow ahead of your business.
You got to grow out ahead of your business. I mean, some people say, well, I don't want to do Twitter, I don't want to do Facebook, I don't want to do Pinterest, and I don't want to do this and this. And there's stuff that I don't do. I don't have time to do. I don't take time to do. But I remember when people didn't want to do fax machines.
Right.
Okay. And I remember when the fax machine was unheard of, and I saw a FedEx commercial about a document could be delivered, across the United States in 4 hours. And I'm thinking, what? Then I needed a document to be delivered from Waco to Fort Worth, and I didn't have time to get up. And I went that morning and went to FedEx, and it cost me about $40-50 for this one page to get faxed to, and this before they had these big machines that they just twirled real fast.
Sure.
And they spent $800 million doing it, but it was developing so fast that they lost most of that.
Right.
Because the thermal fax machine comes out. There's stuff on the internet now that is changing the way we're doing business, and we develop our mind around how to use this and accept it a little bit more.
Now, you asked me a question right here, and I can't read this part, but the marketing and leadership, what do you lead me into here?
Do what? Oh, the part about, is stop wasting handshakes is it marketing or is it leadership?
Yeah, because let's talk about that, because we have about 10 minutes left. Let's kind of lead people into what they'll get out of this, right?
Well, no. Is it marketing or leadership?
Is it?
Yes.
I asked that totally wrong. So I think when you looked at me like that, okay, I know I'm supposed to ask now. Okay. Yes. Yes.
Is the Stop Wasting Handshakes 2.0 program? Is it a marketing program or is it a leadership program? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I get it.
It's both.
Sure.
And because here's the thing. I mean, John Maxwell, who is maybe arguably the leadership guru,
I agree,
in the world. I mean, he's the #5 bestseller for nonfiction on Amazon. All right, he has the largest coaching, training, and speaking program in the world, and he says, and he has said this for a long, long time, that that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. Because, and the fact that we're all leading people, badly, good, bad, or indifferent, we're all leading,
Sure.
we're always influencing. J. Conrad Levinson, the father of guerrilla marketing, the author, co-author of some, there's been around 17 million of those books sold. He will tell you, he died last year, but he would tell in the books, you're trying to, in marketing, you're trying to influence people. All right. So Stop Wasting Handshakes, is about influencing. It is a marketing program, but what makes it work is the personal development, learning better how to lead. There's quite a few books that through the whole program that I recommend, and there's different pieces of books that I use in the program. Everyone communicates, few connect. I remember when John was writing that book, there was a blog on it. I participated in the blog, actually got mentioned as one of the contributors, along with about another 150, 180 other people.
But that's okay.
In the book. And but it's a book about communicating. We all communicate, but do we connect? Connecting is learning how to lead better. So the Stop Wasting Handshakes program is, though the substance of it, let's say in the first 4 weeks that you get, the one-page marketing plan and how to use it, how to blend it in with the contact worksheet and the competencies and the 100 events and weapons. Right. Though that is all primarily marketing, it's moving it into a personal development, into a leadership, and learning how to lead yourself, and to learn how to connect with people. That's where it all really comes together. So that stop wasting these handshakes and the business cards that are late. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, within that, make that first contact when you actually get that card. I've made an effort to do this more myself. I really pay attention to what they want me to know, right? Instead of being so quick to hand them mine and here's who I am. I just ask and say, it's nice meeting you. I'd like to get a card. And then when I get their card, I look at it. And I say, wow, okay, you've got some great stuff on here. Tell me a little bit about that. They hadn't even gotten my stuff yet. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, I want to establish them in my head and get a mental image of remembering who they are. Then I give them my card. Yeah. So there's some techniques there that you might start implementing. Don't be so quick to put your information from them. Ask a lot of questions to them. Form. Family, occupation, recreation, money management, whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's many times, and this doesn't bother me anymore. It used to bother me that I walk away from somebody and they never asked for my card. They never asked me any question, but that's okay.
But you got theirs.
I got theirs, and I trust my process.
Right.
Mitch Myerson, my guerrilla marketing certification coach, he says that marketing has to be about a process. The process has to be in a circle. And if your marketing process is not in a circle, it's a straight line that will lead you to bankruptcy court.
To nothing.
And
out of business.
You're out of you literally are. I'm a very high, if you understand the DISC test, a very high DI, a phlegmatic, sanguine temperament. My tendency is that, a lot of people say that I'm extroverted. I'm not a social person. I'm not one just
you don't bounce down the halls. How you doing?
And I don't mix real well. I go to events and I don't, just walk up to people and all. But and I got and a lot of times it's kind of, why do I go to this event? Well, I learned a long time ago. I go there because I want to put people in my database. I want to get people to know, like, and trust me. And I go to I used to go to events and I wanted to find somebody that I know and just kind of hang out with them and talk to them about football and hey, what do you think about Charlie Strong and you think Romo's going to be back again? Whatever but just people I know. Now I go to events. My purpose for going to an event is normally I want to have a conversation, asking somebody questions about them in order to get their business card. I want to ask, and
Now, how do you pick when you go? What kind of guidelines do you have for that purpose? In other words, what are you looking for, a particular look? You looking
nope.
for a particular type of, or is it just the flow of getting into the event?
Get into the event. I look around, see if there's somebody that I knew that I do know, so I can walk up to
tap
them
into that,
and maybe they introduce me to somebody, and then
right.
I start going through a conversation, and I want to meet. I want to get a business card from somebody. Now let me say this: if I don't ask a business card, if I'm not having a conversation with somebody, meaning I'm asking them a question, they're not responding real well,
you're not going to ask
I'm just
for
going to move on.
Yeah.
And
okay.
but I'm trying to get about a business card about every 7 to 10 minutes of the networking time at any Chamber of Commerce to get there early, get there 30 minutes early.
Right.
So I'm gonna have 3 business cards, 3 to 6 or 3, 4, 5 business cards, maybe. It just all depends.
Right.
But I'm going to follow up. I'm going to follow through with them. I'm going to try to stay engaged with them for a long, long time. And so
yeah, we're so anxious to hand out our cards, but in essence, if you have a Stop Wasting Handshakes type of program that you're centered in,
mm-hmm.
you can go and really communicate an impression on somebody by getting into a conversation with them, right? You get their card finally when it's all said and done. But if they don't ask for yours, fine. You have a way, and it's not like you've lost contact, because they'll probably remember that first impression when you follow up with them.
Actually, Herdy, they don't.
They don't? They really don't? Thank you. That just blew that. Yeah, okay, scratch that on you.
Think about how many people you meet.
Well, that's true.
And the next day you go, you can't remember who this person is, but that's why I
put notes on them.
But when you send them the email,
right?
When you send them the email, and I've got intentions to do that. I've had a few people say, "What are you writing?" And but I send them the email in 3 or 4 days,
right?
And they, and I have people say, "I had no idea who you were, Danny." But I said, "What did you do?" He said, "Well, I clicked on LinkedIn or I clicked on your blog
sure.
and went in there and went, oh, I remember him now."
Right.
And so what I'm trying to do is draw them into my internet world, start building that relationship, let them go and read about what I do.
Yeah.
Okay, and it means more than me, just throwing up all over them.
Yeah, vomit on them, throw up on them. Yeah.
So yeah, it's.
Okay.
I mean, this is a long-term deal. Now, I coach up at Austin Job Seekers Network. That's a shorter sales cycle because people are trying to get a job tomorrow, this week, right now. So this program's a little bit different there. They need to shorten their sales cycle.
Right.
So they need to be more rapid about some of the things. Do the same things, but kind of like the hedgehog concept in Good to Great is just you have to do it faster.
Right.
Same stuff. You just need to go through it a little bit faster.
Spinning up the wheels.
Right. But you never do it the same day.
Okay, so we're winding down.
Yep.
We've been on an hour already.
Have we?
Isn't that cool?
Isn't that cool?
All right, so let's go. Let's give them your website one more time. Because if they want to sign up for Stop Wasting Handshakes, where do they go?
StopWastingHandshakes.com. And there's a 3-minute video on there. And then there's a link to all I ask for is really your first name and your email address. When you then you'll be I'll ask you to opt in to that through your email. When you opt in with the email, 2 things happen there. One, it goes directly to a website. You also get another email that gives you another link to that website. And when you that website, there's a 20-minute video. There's some downloads right there. There's a teleconference from session 1, all available to you right there. When you finish session 1, or you can go on over to session 2, that's another 20-minute video. There's no downloads there on day number 2. So if you did that tonight, tomorrow you're going to get a PDF, and I drip some other stuff out.
Right.
Eventually, over the next 2 weeks, there'll be 2 more videos that you'll have full access.
And you just launched your first short podcast on iTunes called "Stop Wasting Handshakes." If you have an iTunes store, go look that up. It's there, available right now. It's free, so go download it if you want and share it with your friends. Thank you for being on.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for being my coach. I appreciate that. Thanks for being my friend, most of all. Coaching part comes along with it, but the friendship's great. And
enjoyable.
And guys, sponsors, thank you. I didn't get to all of you, but no fear on the custom player.
By the way, that custom player of yours is so cool.
You like that?
Yeah, I love it. I love it, and I'm on there. It's one of the sponsors, and
right.
Anyway.
Yeah, you can
Thanks for
put
that.
links and about me, and I'm going to direct them straight back from that player to your website, and so people can sign up. But guys, once we put that custom player out, Danny shares it. He'll put it on his blog. Oh, that's another thing, because we got a little bit of time. Give them your blog site. Give them your website.
It's DannyLSmith.com.
Yeah, real easy. DannyLSmith.com. Great blog. Got lots of information on there. He caters a lot to guerrilla marketing for realtors. Does some of those classes, but he also is personal. So just get in there and read some of the blogs.
Yeah,
They're great.
And there's a lot of stuff on there about.
Sign up for his blog, what I'm saying, because he drips a lot of great information out every day.
Yep.
All right. Well, you've been listening to the Hurdy Burke Broadcast Network. We do through Hangouts, obviously. If you've been listening on YouTube, thank you, listeners. Want to do that right now. For those of you that are slackers and didn't get on my show tonight, there'll be an archive for you. And so you guys, we're here next Tuesday night. I have Candy Barwan on with Yes, You Empowered Strong. She just launched a book. 4 ladies are getting together to do a conference on August 14th. I'll be shooting that event, clips of it from different angles. But Candy Barwan from Yes, You Empowered, You Empowered Strong, and her website is candybar1international.com. So she'll be on the show next week, and I'll post that on the event. So say good night, Danny.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.